In this part I'm going to put on some colors, therefore I use a hard round brush and just paint in the silhouette again to have a selection later on I can use to have it easier to paint in the different parts. Now it's time to actually paint in some colors, so I take colors I think that are fitting for the various parts and I put every color on a separate layer. So for example, this skin color, my green, gets one layer and I put it on the face, on the hands, and the hair gets a separate layer as well as all the other parts. What makes it very easy to make adjustments and create color variations later in the process. If you take the time to look at my layers, you can see that I try to name all of them. That's totally unnecessary, but it really helps to keep everything organized and to be, in my opinion at least, quicker in the long run, because you have to spend less time finding the right layers you're trying to work on. As you can see, there's nothing special about this process, just painting in the colors. It doesn't even matter which colors you pick, to be honest, because if you do it like this with every color on a different layer, it's very easy to just make adjustments later on and change the colors completely. So you absolutely do not have to stress about it at all. So, and with the final details of the character, we have our very first color variation. Let's just rename it, and then it's time to make some color variations. So what I'm doing now is kind of a bit odd, because it actually could or should have been in an earlier stage. So what I'm looking at is, like, I'm looking for some color schemes I like, because initially I wasn't really planning on doing the character with a background, but now that I have it like this, I want to integrate it into a background to tell a bit more of a story. So I'm looking and searching for some magical forest vibes, just to get an idea what color scheme would be nice. So again, I'm just collecting various reference pictures to pick colors from later on and base my color variations on these colors. So first of all, I decide on a background color I want the main mood to be in, and then select every single layer of the character. That's why I put everything on separate layers. I select it, lock the transparency, and then I can just paint over it without painting anywhere else. And I do this for every part, try what works, and just really try to what else I can come up with. So I can always go back to my inspiration file and look at color schemes and stuff like that, and just try different variations, either by painting them in, or you can easily use an adjustment layer or just press Ctrl U to make changes in the value and saturation of each part. So after a while of experimenting, I came up with this purple, blue, green, cobalt as my Goblin as my first variation. You can take as long as you want with the variations and make as many if you want or need to. I usually make about 3 or 4, and just make sure to make copies of the groups so that you have all variations separately. And I decided to go with the little purple one because it already had this kind of magic vibe and it wasn't too dark, so I really like that one. So what I did first then is just to draw some structure into the background. That's something I discovered recently, just to give it a bit more of an edge and that it doesn't look too clean. So I took a big structured brush, took a light purplish color and set it the layer mode to multiply and just drew around the corners. So I get this nice texture. Then I start to work more on the local colors of all the elements. As you can see, therefore, I make a layer on top of the layer I want to work on, and I set it as a clipping mask. So you can just press Alt and click between the two layers. So now the layer is linked to the layer underneath and you cannot draw outside of it. And I just add details and color variations into these local colors. For example, the arms are supposed to have like different colored stripes, or the shoe has some minor detail, and I just use this to bring in more detail, more interest, and yeah, overall put just more detail into all the different parts. One thing I do most of the time when working with characters is to get some reds into the nose and the ear area, because it just brings more life to the character, because the skin seems to be thinner there, so therefore you can see a bit more of the blood flowing through. Therefore I take a bright red and just put in the color, then I take the smudge tool and smudge it, and normally I put the layer mode to multiply, so that you can see a bit of the underneath color as well. And the last thing I add is the light source, the magic in his hand. Therefore I take for now a greenish color and just a hard round brush, and put the layer mode on, I think it's color dodge, and just draw in the flame and erase it from the fingers that are hiding the flame. And yeah, this is my colored version. So the next episode we're going to talk about adding shadows to bring everything a bit more to life, and I hope to see you there.